property, grabbing my phone, harassing inside of El Pollo Loco, and then telling them to call the police after they engage and try to snatch my property. This is the entity that's gang stalking. She's engaged in accusing me of touching her car. You see this car right here I took a picture of? Not touching it? And she's talking about she has me on camera. That's the entity that's monitoring. Oh, we're coming from the laundromat, gang stalking? We're coming all the way from the laundromat to engage in what is gang stalking? All right, did you get her gut? Pay attention to that, her waistline. That's the pattern of conduct. That's a P.O.C. Hi, I have a question. Did you witness them grab my phone?
Yeah, I took pictures too, so you're good, right? You need any help?
Well, I just wanted to get a drink, but they're grabbing my phone now, and you're talking about calling the police, so if you want to call...
We're good.
Well, why wouldn't you call the police when she tried to grab my property?
Already caught.
Oh, okay. Well, they're driving away now.
Just take a drink if you want.
All right, you're the one that was working in here talking about me being in the streets, right? Was that you? That was you in the morning under the fake sun, right? That was harassing me, talking about being in the streets with the cleaner. He was cleaning right here. It's on video under the fake sun. All right, thank you. Is it problematic if I get ice? Carlos? Yeah, this Carlos, he's got his own business. He was cleaning at El Pollo Loco, engaging in defamation, while the entity's engaged in what is harassing me inside of El Pollo Loco. All right, remember that? He was talking about being in the streets. Remember that? Because the entity engages in defamation when they're gang stalking you. All right, this is the P.O.C. No, I'm not getting drinks, I'm just getting ice. But this is the entity that harasses you while you document them violating the law. This is the entity that engages in kidnapping children, and they're hostile because they're being exposed for that, sex trafficking children, coming into the restaurant lying like I'm touching her raggedy Honda Civic while I'm taking pictures of it, which is appropriately lawful, and he engaged in harassing me as well while he was being documented. This is El Pollo Loco. This is I just want to be clear, that was ongoing harassment, psychological torture, and a threat to commit criminal summoning. The Ontario police are stalking, so what are you calling them for? That's the P.O.C. I'm gonna go ahead and document. I'm gonna show you the fake sun. Alrighty, I wanna show you that chaotic scene of the entity that's hostile to being documented. These are kidnappers. That's why it's so violent. All right, these are stalkers, these are sex offenders and pedophiles. And this is the fake sun where that employee, Carlos, had his olive green truck right here. And he was engaged in what is spray washing, power washing. And he engaged in what is holding up his phone, harassing me, stalking with the people who were in the parking lot. AYOOANT is the same entity that were stalking me with the demon that works in El Pollo Loco apparently, not just cleaning it in the morning and gang stalking, but he works there and is doing, engaging in the P.O.C, harassing me with the demons that are at the restaurant. This is the entity, this overweight demon that's engaging in what is making false allegation. I'm touching her car. Okay, this is the entity that's engaging in the pattern of conduct because it's unlawful to because it's perfectly lawful rather, to take a picture of your license plate. You're adding in, oh, I touched it. I'm taking pictures of what it is that I captured, and the entity is watching me while this entity is gang stalking me, everything that they're falsely alleging, including the demon Carlos that's criminally defaming. You see the gang stalkers of the laundromat, they come in, engaging in what they're running in, monitoring. Where do they come from? All right, this is the entity that's engaging in that pattern of conduct. This is harassment because you are documenting kidnappers, a sex trafficking ring, while they engage in this. And El Pollo Loco is being federally prosecuted. Everything that came out of those customers' mouths, they share together. And literally, Carlos is engaged in the pattern of conduct as an employee. All right, referring to the Ontario police, that's a threat. The Ontario police that you see on video stalking me with Southwest Airlines, with the military. This is the same P.O.C. All right, while they're engaged in that, these are the demons that are hostile because they're being exposed as sex traffickers, pedophiles, thieves, vagina monitors, gang stalkers, demons who engage in that pattern of conduct. And this is all under the guy. Pay this right here, because this is all El Pollo Loco. Stalking with Delta Airlines. The 5 p.m. fake sun. Carlos is standing right here in the morning, defaming me. The demon possessed that are gang stalking that are going to prison, they think that if they try to defame you on camera, such as stating that I'm outside, I'm in the streets rather, while they have stolen my money, my identity, because they're envious of me. 9XW8355 shares in that envy. That's why she's stalking. Engaging in the pattern of conduct, grabbing my property, making false allegations, while then you engage in what is admitting that you're monitoring. Okay, this is the P.O.C. The entity is engaging in this at El Pollo Loco. I would just want to be clear, this is actually the entity speaking while one demon is engaging in that. And regardless of taking pictures, you've got a camera in your phone. So then a camera in your car, then your camera would capture the fact that I didn't touch your car. So you're making, nor do I want to. These are demons that are obsessed with me and want to make it seem as though I'm the one that's concerned about them. I'm documenting them because you're stalking me. Okay, this is the entity that's engaging that. Carlos is the one that's going to prison. He engaged in defamation on camera. He's monitoring while they're pacing in and out of the restaurant. The entity is gang stalking Delta Airlines, Southwest Airlines pacing beside. There is no natural environment where you are under the fake sun you are only under the fake sun, and there's no natural environment where the light source would be here. Where Carlos is under that light source right here at the same address. It is the POC. And that is speaking to the fact you're witnessing the entity is lying. Oh, I'm trying to touch your little $2,000 car, Honda Civic, whatever that little piece of crap is. It's a sedan, probably a used one. And this is, again, a puffy gang stalker that is concerned about me. All right? She's fluffy. She's very fluffy. She's engaged in the pattern of conduct. And she's a gang stalking lesbian. All right? She's under the fake sun. She's a lying demon. And she's monitoring with Delta Airlines. This is audible activity while 9XWA355 is monitoring. License 9BZX213 is monitoring. The entity is gang stalking. El Pollo Loco is monitoring. On the roads and the highways. Okay? Starbucks is monitoring. Spins Laundry is right across the street on the opposite side. They're all monitoring together, and they engaged in documented harassment. Corporate entities like El Pollo Loco shall compensate for everything that just came out of their mouth, which is harassment as the guise of audible activity. Okay? The Ontario police are not a police department, and every time the entity refers to them, you're going to prison. Okay? I documented the demons in those civic. They're going to prison. He grabs my phone while I am engaging what is taking a picture while you're harassing me because so what, I took a picture. Moreover, you're gang stalking. I'm absolutely going to take your picture. Okay, this is the end, but I just want to be clear, under normal circumstances where there's no gang stalking, so what, somebody takes a picture of your car, and in fact, you have a camera in your car, that's great for you. That camera will show that nothing happened to your vehicle. Because in fact, if something happened to your vehicle, you would have stepped outside right then and there while it was in the midst of being scratched or whatever it is that you're claiming that happened. This is an entity that's engaging in the pattern of conduct, and being fat and being rude and loud is not evidence that you're telling the truth. It is occurring under the fake sun where El Pollo Loco is gang stalking. This fluffy demon is engaging in the POC while she's worried about me, worried about my vagina, instead of worrying about her oversized waistline. That's just the truth. All right, and this is why you're spending millions of dollars stalking Delta Airlines. This is literally the evidence. This is literally the evidence. This is the POC, right? They uttered Ontario police. They're going to prison. All right, Ontario police, that's supposed to be a threat. That's what they did at the library today after I documented the gang stalking milk dud. The demon that's wearing a suit that's monitoring my vagina and going to the city hall in a black van to do so, tracking my steps. The entity that's engaging in what is stalking me with Southwest Airlines at the Ontario Civic Center under the fake sun. The entity engages in what is stalking conspicuously by the police that's supposed to threaten you. It is reasonably harassing. It is psychological torture, but it doesn't work on me. They're going to prison for it. Okay, everything they just said were not only audible activity to monitor, while there's no sun remaining in the window of Omnitrans, it's remaining stationary over me, which is what I'm subject to aboard Omnitrans. The entity is engaged in what is hostility, harassment, ongoing false allegations because they are hostile while they're being documented, because they're a bunch of stalking vagina monitors, overweight as well, okay? This fluffy one speaking to, engaging what is a battery, grabbing my phone, and then telling them to call the police on me while you grab my phone. This is the entity. I want to be clear. If I do what they do, first of all, they would have a mud pie stomped in their face. But if I do what they did, the police would already be here. Okay? The entity is engaging, and that's why they're going to prison for it. I documented that license plate, everything that she said. She's engaged in what is starting an argument. The employees are monitoring to that, and they play what is referee, but not really, because they immediately, oh, if you don't stop, then I'm going to have to call the police, and they're monitoring with the demons that are in the restaurant. And they're doing so maliciously under the fake sun. And that's why when you are referring to the gang stalkers themselves of the Ontario police, where you are stalking literally at El Pollo Loco with Amazon Prime, Delta Airlines, Southwest Airlines, the entity using what are helicopters literally at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is the same exact crime scene. All right, that's the POC. This is what you need to be aware of. This is what an entity does because they're scared. Okay? This fluffy demon needs to be running and stalking a treadmill. She's another one. You need to be stalking an aerobics course, not stalking me. Okay? And because you're angry and you're scared that you're being prosecuted, now you're going to prison, that's no excuse, and this is what you're going to learn with regard to engaging in terrorism. With the homosexuals who are severely mentally putting you away, is there a reasonable question to doubt that that third party is gang stalking me? No, there is not. There is her co-defendant, and they are going to prison. They're going to federal prison, and so is Carlos. That's POC. License plate 9XTV636. This little shorty doo-wop is gang stalking under the fake sun. Okay? Breast and all. You see that cleavage? He's monitoring. That's the POC. It is currently 5:41 p.m. El Pollo Loco engaged in harassment under the light source in concert with the entity. Okay? These are the failed rituals. And this is a humiliation ritual for the demons that are engaged in vagina monitoring, sex trafficking, kidnapping, theft, when they're the brokies that steal from children. And then when that child grows up and prosecutes you, you can't stand the pressure. You're going to prison and you're going to deal with it there. 7DXO902. This is POC. All right, they just spoke as an entity. And the ones that are speaking, grabbing my phone, that male and that fluffy female, those two are going to prison. So is Carlos. He's harassing and doing so very boldly, okay, because he thinks the pattern of conduct ends there. It doesn't. And I have the pleasure of I'll attach that video because Carlos is going to prison. This is POC.